matching top and so on. Really, there are some things which we will have to change. They also go to gumboots, for example, and there is a green gumboot here, I think. And they said that is now a monopoly of the UPDF. You cannot be seen, just an ordinary gumboot, which people are wearing all over the place and so on. So I think we need to look at this. There are other sections, Oscar, which are quite important. And I've asked this question. When you look at clause 7 of the bill, it provides that members of the High Command on the 26th of January 1986, whose names are set out on Shade 3 to this Act, provided that the member has not been convicted of any criminal offense or changed citizenship or has not joined active partisan politics, they will be members of the Uganda People's Defense Forces High Command. And I'm saying, first of all, it is bad legislation to legislate for particular individuals that Emmanuel Odombo will be a member of the High Command until he dies. It doesn't make common sense. Because this is not even military. This is not law. It is not common sense.
But when you take it further, what if they all die? Then there's no High Command.
No. There are others. It's a category.
Okay.
And my suggestion is, really in good faith, many of these people played a role, especially in the war that brought the NRM to power. We've since then awarded them medals. They have since then retired. They are now old men. The NRA at that time has since then metamorphosized into what we call the UPDF. Allow these gentlemen and ladies to rest. They are in their retirement. They can now not be burdened. But because they participated in this struggle, they can't be burdened with army responsibility until they die. Just imagine somebody is being lucky enough to live up to 100 years. And he comes from Karamoja, in a sea, it said he's come to attend a High Command meeting. It doesn't make sense to me. So we are speaking something for the interests of the army and for the interests of we have now new young people, men and women, professional lawyers, whatever profession, who are managing the army currently. Let them carry their responsibility. Those people who played their role, they did. The country has awarded them. We've given them very good pension. The generals were given very good ex gratia when they were leaving, those who have retired. Let them go do farming, look after their great-grandchildren. They have lives to live after the army. So that is one of the areas we are looking. I am thinking I should bring my reserve force close to actually. Because, that is a pool. These guys who have served, ex-servicemen, that is a pool from which you can pull the reserve force as and when they are needed. But they are retired. So that is catered for, not this particular one. Then, Oscar, when you go to this contest, I think about the court martial, because everybody is court martial, and so on. This bill, there are around 80-something clauses, and the court martial has only 4. Only 4. So, but they seem to be the most important for public discussion. 2, we are now providing that there is going to be a cross appeal now, that decisions of the general court martial will not end in the court martial. It can now be appealed to the civilian courts. We had the debate whether you are from the general court martial, you appeal to the High Court or the Court of Appeal. Because eventually the bill was appointing the Court of Appeal. And that we agree in principle, that now the General Court Martial will not be the end of people who are being processed in the Court Martial. You can appeal to the ordinary courts.
Even for service offences?
Yes, all offences. And that's what it should be. Because you see, one, you move out of a system which, if you say, I have been unfairly treated by this system, prosecuted and so on. So let us have the second chance of examining what the military court system did. And at the appellate level, not trial level. Okay. Oscar, that means that if a general court martial takes a decision, that decision is appealable to the Court of Appeal, where 3 judges will look into it. And even that, we are providing that automatic right of appeal to the Supreme Court. That is an innovation now because it hasn't been there.
But
Because-
maybe, Honorable Abdul, on the clauses that concern the General Court Martial, I don't have it off head, but I was reading it. There's a clause there on the exceptional circumstances a civilian can be tried.
Yes.
I think a sub-clause should be added to explain clearly what exceptional circumstances are, because if it remains an open and vague,
And that's what the courts decided after. They said that civilians to be, by the way, contrary to what people say, the court did not say that civilians cannot be tried by the court martial. It didn't say that. Actually, it said it is possible. However, it said it is only in rare exceptional circumstances. So the burden we have now is to define the clear exceptional circumstances as envisaged by the Constitution, but also taking into account the court decision.
However-
because they went into details.
However, Abdul, is there any situation that the regular court cannot charge a civilian?
Which one?
Is it necessary to go to the court martial? Doesn't a regular court
No, all
cover everything?
Okay, no. Let's do this. First of all, court martials are not unique to Uganda. All professional armies all over the world have court martials. So it is about the universality. It is there because this is a unique institution, Oscar, and I want us to appreciate it. The circumstances where, for example, when you aid and abet, I don't know whether when I say aiding and abetting, I'm speaking English or law.
Yes, you're speaking English.
Or both. Okay. If, for example, Oscar, there is a Major Lumala who is committing a service offense, and a certain civilian Abdul Katuntu has aided Major Lumala in the commission of the and abetted this case, the commission of the case, then of the offense, then you cannot have double trials. That you get Katuntu, you take them to a civilian court on the same facts, then you get Lumala, you take him to the military. So when you aid and abet, let me tell you, that could take you to the other side. You get it. However, to me, that is not my concern. My concern and everybody's concern should be weaponizing the court martial. That you see, we are going into this conversation and we miss out, Oscar, the complaint. The complaint is, and I pleaded with the UPDF officers who are there, that they are the ones causing us all these problems. Because they have now weaponized the court martial. If there's a problem with the Semuju here, they will manufacture something which takes Semuju to what? To the court martial. And by the way, Blue is here also now. So, Oscar, that is, in law we call it the mischief. That's where the mischief is. That the court martial has failed to do what it's supposed to do under the law, and it has been weaponized to handle sometimes political problems. That's where the problem is. It is not about the law, whether the civilians here and so on and no. And if the court martial can do what we call soul searching. Say, we have caused this problem because of ABCD. So they should just be more professional. The good news is all these guys are lawyers, well-trained lawyers. You get it? And we are asking them to act professionally. Oscar, the court martial has always been there, by the way.
Yeah.
But why is it that it is even of late that we have a public uproar? Because of late, they have really degenerated into a political institution. And that's where the problem is. But once they act professionally, I don't think we'll have some of these problems we are seeing today.
Honorable
Oscar,
Semuju,
yeah, you see,
I'm
the-
coming to you.
Yeah.
Before I take umbrage on what Abdu is saying, that the court can consider for itself, whereas we have MPs that should consider and determine. Angelo Izama posts here that the main issue is the extent of civilian oversight over the army. How does this bill speak to this issue, and gives an example. Does it also matter that military leaders continue to disregard lawful orders from civilian authorities? Is your discussion in Parliament looking at that? Then my other question to you is, Abdul has pointed out very in legalese way what we should worry about.
Well, I was speaking plain English. Really. There's nothing legalese about this.
Yeah, but I could ask Semuju directly. For you, what is there, without going back into the other history and relating to what's there, what should we be scared of from this?
You see, the context, Oscar, here is very important. Mr. Museveni, even at the beginning of this parliament, he was persuading NRM MPs to change the constitution to remove bail. In the meetings they had with him, some of them, by the way, spoke very well and forcefully. They told him under the constitution, you are the only one who cannot be arrested. All of us are candidates. We are therefore not going to allow you to remove bail, and then you begin, and God is very good. Within a few months, you had NRM MPs arrested that they were soliciting money during budget processing. One of them actually who spoke forcefully before Museveni, I'm not even sure whether Museveni was not revenging on him, the Honorable Akamba. He gets arrested. After getting arrested, court grants him bail, and he's grabbed by the people who were in civilian. Later, Museveni said he's the one who had ordered. And I think it was very good that the NRM MPs got to be treated that way. Can you imagine Lukutana going to court asking bail, and he says, the way I see the weather outside, I am not going to process bail.
The clouds were
yes, I'm not going to process bail. So on that occasion, the NRM, but the point I'm making, Oscar, is that the context is that Museveni doesn't want bail given. So if he doesn't want bail given, these courts are under immense pressure to give bail. So the only court that is not under pressure is the military court. And then two, he was accusing these ordinary courts of delays. And he wanted to create an alternative justice where they try you very quickly. Like basically, you were supposed to have been tried in 2 weeks and sentenced to death. Since then, when they told them you transfer the file to civilian court, they don't have evidence. We were in a car when they were applying, we need the SG's phone to begin collecting evidence. So which means in court martial, they did not need evidence. They were just going to convict him. So that context must, because that's the intention. Sometimes I'm told in courts of law, even the intention of the framers becomes part of the processing. The judges will look at the intention. What was the intention? So Oscar, having said that, I'm coming quick. So the other aspect that Honorable Abdul spoke about of the NRM people who are supposed to be members of the High Command, I have seen they have made a change here, which is good. That to be, if you are in Ruwero and you're a member of High Command, you remain in High Command till you die. They have said, if you have not changed the citizenship. Do you know that in the law, we had Ruwejema? First, he was dead, but two, he has also gone to Rwanda. But he was part of the High Command, and Kagame was part of the council. So they are citizens of another country, but they are members of the structures of our military, just because they are in the way of fighting. Then coming
and
to
at some time we've been at loggerheads with the other country.
Yeah. So coming to the issues that we should worry. Yeah, Mugisha Muntu is a member of the council.
That's a tricky question.
Is a member of the council, not the High Command, but a member of the council. I think now they have said he will no longer be, because they said if you participate in partisan politics, they move you.
Or he excessively uses
the points Abdu mentioned here, we deal with the context even in the application of the law. Abdu, as our former Shadow Attorney General, was in a meeting with Rugunda and Nanda people who were leading us in Parliament at that time, to try to interpret sections of the Public Management Act that deliberately Kaihura was misinterpreting to say he has powers to grant permission to hold a rally and so on and so forth. But the debate didn't start with the interpretation. We warned everybody during the consideration of the law in Parliament that the moment you pass it the way it is, we are in trouble. They said, no. And they spoke very well. That, no, you see, it happens everywhere. In the UK, they also regulate rallies, what. That universality is always applied by mafia to make everybody believe that their motivation is not bad. And the law was made. Thank God I was dragged out of Parliament by police. They were referring me. Amemdment wanted me to be taken to the disciplinary committee. And I thank God that the very first person to be arrested under the Public Management order was Amemdment by Kawesa.
I have Kaseja here saying, don't be duped by those good things in the bill.
Yeah, so the intention for me, it doesn't matter what, the moment you give them something to hang on, even if it is one word, not even a sentence, that is civilian in exceptional circumstances, even if you define them, now you'll begin quarreling with them. But this one does not follow in the category that is in the law. So let civilian, Oscar, I was helping Brigadier Sebagala to write his autobiography. He told me under the Uganda, I don't know, the one of Obote was which army? The first Obote government.
Uganda Army. The independence government.
Yes.
The independence government, no, but the independence government. Uganda Army.
Brigadier Sebagala told me they faced an insurgency in Rwenzori. And he said we went to put off and put down that rebellion. But as a standard procedure, we're also moving with the police unit in our area. Each insurgent that we arrested, we are handing over to police because they are the ones who are responsible for that. As early as that, that's how the army was behaving. Where is the appetite that 40, 60 years later, you can't do things that were done at independence? And Brigadier Sebagala is there, ask him.
The enemy has changed it, everything has changed.
So Besigye is worse than people who are in Rwenzori holding guns. So really, these things, Oscar, the intention is not that they want to fight crime. The intention is that they now must clamp down on the opposition. That's why stupid things are found their way in the law. Kaunda suit, boots. Really, in this century, Dombo, in other countries, even military uniform are sold and people put them on.
Yeah.
For you, the universality is in what?
Even the guns, some countries.
Yeah, so NRM MPs, Oscar, all of them, they were in Chankwans. Museveni gave them 2 sets of uniform. They have them.
Seriously?
Yes.
Also, you don't wear and live there. You come back with
so you go for no poor just going in Chiembe here in Kampala to
get ready.
To get ready. And you leave all NRM MPs, ministers have 2 sets of UPDF, not even, they have the one of training and the ceremonial uniform. You saw the minister, Lilian Abe. She was putting on a uniform like the one of SFC.
Did she say she had borrowed?
It doesn't matter whether you have borrowed. You saw my friend Mwenda putting on a uniform. Why do you arrest people of Bered and then you don't arrest Mwene? You don't arrest Lilian Abe. You don't arrest all the NRM MPs. If you raided them, I can tell you, they all returned with those uniforms. So the issue is not that these guys are troubled by people possessing military store or military. They simply want to deal with the opposition, but pretending that everybody does.
Raymond. What should
even
we worry?
Even Dombo has a uniform. He was in the Chankwans. This one here.
Well, Raymond, I'll tell you more about the General Service Unit.
Yes.
Dombo has a military uniform. This one, he should be arrested after the show.
It's a very interesting outfit.
He has 2 pairs.
But
I don't know whether he got 2, but I am sure he has one because I saw him in a uniform in the Chankwans.
No, I
Does it
know.
not that when I was in Jankos, I was a
My
little bit
daddy was
smaller.
just.
I don't think it becomes illegal if it's not fitting you.
But his shoes, he has the shoes as well. So I can confirm that he does have.
The uniform he has also.
And 2 pairs of shoes. Yeah.
Military.
Ofana Pondo has many.
Maybe Oscar, the question we need to ask is,
I need one. Oscar, can we borrow me and you?
No, I don't.
I wanted to say maybe we should go back
has a military
to
number,
probe
so
the
he's
politics.
a reserve force.
The politics behind the law. I think that's where the heart of the debate is. I don't think in the history of Uganda ever that the collapse of a political order has left the military order. So everywhere the political order has collapsed, the military order has followed. So both parties need each other. Our politicians